collecting can get a little serious at times and even a little snooty. That's far from why I fell in love with this hobby in the first place. While I understand that to some, the mechanics or finishing is of utmost importance, however to me a hobby should be also fun and something to enjoy with other like-minded folk. And when it comes to fun, the Electricianz, ELZ for short, based out of Switzerland have spunk and a sense of humour, characteristics that seem in short supply on the internet forums of late. Or maybe I'm just getting old and grumpy, who knows. The ELZ's ambition is to create new objects that illustrate electrical phenomenon, blending electronic technology and lifestyle with contemporary fashion. And I think they nailed that brief here with the Steel Z line we are looking at today. And once again, thanks to Mad Associates for lending these wicked pieces in for review. There's a multitude of case colours and designs, but the two specifically here are a stainless steel or blue or brown monochrome with a full PVD treatment. The case is on the larger side of the spectrum, which I measured in at 46.3mm across with a thickness of 13.8mm. Lug to lug is 52.5mm with a standard lug width of 22mm. While on paper the dimensions are quite large, the sharply angled lugs leads to a better fit on wrists. I think the lug to lug may be a challenge for some and was certainly at its maximum at my 17cm wrist. The overall weight of the watch was lighter than I expected and also aided in better comfort. Being a PVD finish, both pieces have a matte finishing to them, with the only polishing being the ring just below the crystal that steps or separates to the case. There's another 45°-ish cut back halfway down the case, which adds to some dimension and flair to the case shape. Obviously these watches sit in the casual realm, but are certainly no doubt conversation starters. There's two strap options available here, either leather or on metal bracelet as we see. It's finished exactly the same as the case, which matches well and looks great. It would be nice to see proper end links used, but perhaps this would render the quick release system used obsolete or add to the overall cost. There's minimal taper from the 22mm lugs, and it's all held on the wrist by a push button butterfly clasp, which means there's no micro adjustment unfortunately. I also found that it had to be closed with the logo side last, otherwise you'd end up hitting the tab and unable to close the clasp. This doesn't hinder anything apart from perhaps a small annoyance the first few times, and overall the bracelet is well finished and complements the watch well. At the 3 position there's a well sized, knurled styled, non-screw down crown which is easy to manipulate. Once pulled you have hacking of the seconds hand and of course the ability to change time. The pusher at the 2 position is what I call the illuminator. 5 LED lights provide some awesome backlighting for those that love to read the time while in the dark. Don't go swimming too far in the dark however, as water resistance is limited to 30 meters. The covered polished caseback has some insignia and details about the watch, and powering it all is the Miyota 2033 base movement with a proprietary quartz module. This particular model I believe has 2 lithium batteries, one powering the movement and the other visible on the dial side for the ultra slick backlighting. From my research on the Miyota website, accuracy is listed as plus or minus 20 seconds a month, which is reasonable, and I'm not sure if this is actually exactly correct for the ELZ watch as it does have the proprietary module. ELZ state that they wanted a large battery for aesthetical reasons, but have in-house electrical module to convert the 3 volts into 1.5 needed for the movement. When replacing the battery you should go for a 3-volt battery and the watch system will convert the voltage. Batteries can be changed at any watchmaker, which is super convenient, and the lifespan should typically see 3 years. without using the light function. The more that light gets used, shorter the lifespan. Up front, the crystal is made out of hardened K1 mineral glass with anti-reflective treatment, which is quite good actually, and the depth of the dial is quite unique. I'm not sure how to even explain the dial as there's so many components, but I'll give it a go. On the left side, in the 9 position, you can see the battery and the terminals protruding from it powering the watch. Off center to the right, we have the time display with a polished outer area and then a textured inner minutes track. These have been hollowed out so that you can see the hour markings. The semi-skeletonized hands are a touch small compared to the rest of the dial, but do the job relatively well, while the seconds hand does get lost. Behind you see some of the movement components, which continues the aesthetic of this piece. The frequency, 32,768 Hz in the 4 position, is a nice little touch that completes the Steel Z dial. The LZ is a fun, industrial design that injects some life and character into the watch world. It doesn't take itself too seriously, yet they manage to create something that I think a lot of non-watch enthusiasts may take a second look at and start up a conversation. It may not be for you, and that's okay. On the other hand, you may love the idea of the ELZ, and that's cool as well. Either way, let's all continue to enjoy this hobby and its people together. Thanks for watching the review, hope you enjoyed it. Please do all that good stuff. Like, subscribe and share. If you want to follow more daily content, head over to my Instagram page at Mr. Ace K Productions. Until next time. As stated earlier, loom is not the traditional style we usually see. As stated earlier, loom is the traditional. For f***'s sake, come on.